Thanks for joining me once again, where people continue to be wrong on the interwebs. They continue to be nutritional flat earthers like Pam Popper. They continue to be Pam Popper, who has a little video here entitled Carnivore Diet Insanity. Let's hear who it is who's actually insane, or at least a nutritional flat earther, an imbecile, as arrogant as fuck, and wrong. It's going to be her.
Did you know your body renews and repairs itself using a system of adult stem cells, which unfortunately winds down as we age? Isn't that terrible? Luckily, Cerule Stem Enhance Ultra reverses that trend. Isn't that great? Here's where you get it. Oh, and if you're more interested in earning than in spending, we have a program for that too. Just let us know.
Go on, Pam.
I'm Dr. Pam Popper from Wellness Farm Health in Columbus, Ohio.
And absolutely, as I said when I did my last video regarding Pam Popper a few minutes ago, that I always look at a person very carefully before they start talking about nutrition. I take a good look at them and I go, is this a person who looks to me like someone who knows anything about nutrition, longevity, health, doing well as they age, any of those kind of things at all? You can do other things. That's what I do. And then I start to listen to confirm that what they're about to say is likely to be wrong and stupid. Because everything that comes out of this ridiculous charlatan's gob regarding nutrition is wrong and stupid in the extreme. She literally is a member of the Nutrition Flat Earth Society, i.e. the vegans. Let's hear it though, Pam.
Welcome to Plant-Based News. And the reason I'm talking to you right now is I've been hearing...
is because of your incredible, unbelievable arrogance to believe yourself remotely competent to speak on human nutrition, despite the fact that you are a card-carrying member of the Nutrition Flat Earth Society, veganism, which is wrong. Human beings are not designed to be vegans, Pam. Okay?
About this new diet craze called the carnivore diet.
Yes, the new diet craze called the carnivore diet that's so new we've been doing it for 5 million fucking years. Do you remember when it started? Kind of looks like it.
Diet. And apparently you just eat meat and a lot of organ meat.
No. Human beings are not particularly designed to eat organs other than muscle, actually, and associated fat. Organs are not required, so wrong.
And it sounds a little disgusting to me, to tell you the truth.
Well, who gives two fucks what your opinion is, you silly, ignorant, arrogant woman?
But that's not the reason to not do it. I'll give you some better reasons to not do it.
I doubt that very much.
The first thing is the argument for a carnivore diet is that people lose weight. They do.
That's terrible.
And sometimes their biomarkers improve.
Gosh, that's appalling. We can't be having that, Pam.
In the short term. And
in the long term as well, Pam, which you forgot to mention in your last video I did on you a few minutes ago. Long term as well. Up to 67 years. It's quite a while, isn't it?
Do for a while.
And as I said in the last video, let's put a picture of you up against Maggie and see which one of you, has the right approach, perhaps. Of course, that's just N equals 2 with all sorts of uncontrolled degrees of freedom, but it's pretty clear the divergence, shall we say.
And people say, well, you can reverse your diabetes this way.
Gosh, we can't be having that either. These are great reasons not to do carnivore. Carry on, Pam.
Well, you may see some temporary changes in your fasting glucose levels.
So what?
And I think...
And long-term as well, because you see, the thing is, if you stop pouring unnecessary, toxic overburden of carbohydrates down your stupid fucking neck every day of your life, your blood glucose tends to normalise at the homeostatic set point that it ought to, under the control of your genes, which have been doing that for a very, very long time. Again, probably you remember when that started too.
I think part of the benefit is when people adopt these meat-based diets, paleo, there are a lot of versions of it, they do eliminate dairy and they eliminate a lot of junk food. And
so that's the typical argument that these absolute flat earth fuckers come up with. They say the only reason carnivore is any good is because it eliminates junk food. Nonsense. That's not the only reason.
Always going to see some improvement in health just from doing that because people eat so much of that type of thing.
Right, so is that a reason not to do it then? No.
However, when people tell me that the reason for doing something is that it works, a diet works,
Logics.
I tell them, well, you know, if losing weight and lowering your cholesterol and normalizing your blood sugar is...
The cholesterol is not a problem. It's not something we need to worry about or control or alter in any way, shape or form. That too is under the control of our genes, which have been doing that for a very, very long time and know exactly what they're doing.
Is the only objective, and the fact that it works for those purposes is the...
In actual fact, Pam, what you'll find in people on a carnivore diet is typically their cholesterol increases, which is a good thing.
Criteria. I'm going to throw out some other things that accomplish the same objective. So chemotherapy is really effective for...
So a complete disconnect, a complete ridiculous argument based on here's something else that achieves the same things that you've put forward as the goals of a carnivore diet, which aren't even the goals of a carnivore diet. This is absolutely fucking insane, you ridiculous, arrogant fuckpot.
Losing weight and lowering cholesterol.
No, that's not a goal of the carnivore diet still.
Because it kills your appetite. People stop eating, they don't want to eat.
Rubbish. Absolute fucking nonsense. Carnivores stop eating because we lose our appetites, is what Pamela's just said. No, that's not true. It's a lie, Pamela. It's ridiculous. It's laughable.
Their glucose levels go down, their cholesterol goes down. Well,
no, it doesn't. It goes up. Fucking idiot.
I don't think anybody, including even some cancer patients, nobody would take on chemotherapy as a weight loss plan, as a way to lower your cholesterol. It sounds ridiculous. I'll tell you something else that works. Cocaine addiction is...
Oh, fuck. It's the same old arguments again and again, isn't it? Just fucking ridiculous. None of these are reasons not to do the carnivore diet. In fact, none of these have anything to do with the carnivore diet. Cocaine abuse and chemotherapy? I hope you've got some other reason, because you haven't given us a single reason not to do the carnivore way of living, Pamela. And you're nearly halfway through this little video.
Very effective for weight loss. I have never had an overweight cocaine addict in my office. And
just repeating the same ridiculous buzz points again, none of which have anything to do with whether or not a carnivore diet is the best diet for a human being, and it still is.
By the way, when you lose weight, your cholesterol comes down, your blood glucose levels go down, and so you're probably thinking these are ludicrous ideas. And that...
Yes, they are ludicrous ideas, Pamela, because everything that comes out of your ridiculous fucking mouth as regards human nutrition and human health is fucking ludicrous. It's nonsense. It's anti-scientific claptrap. It's smoke and mirrors, misdirect, oh, look over there, shiny thing, and it ignores the actual objective reality in which we find ourselves. It's quite stunning. This is why I call you clowns the Flat Earth Society of Nutritionists, because you are absolutely destitute. You are devoid of common sense. You are divorced from objective reality. Clearly. Do you own a mirror, Pam, at all? Mirror, mirror on the wall.
That is exactly my point.
What is your point? Your point is cocaine is bad and chemotherapy is bad? Okay, cool. I'm on board.
Only criteria is that it works and you're not concerned about the side effects.
The side effects. Right, well, what are the side effects of the carnivore diet then, Pam?
There are a lot of things that you could do that would temporarily improve your health until...
Yeah, and long-term as well. Remember, up to 67 years on the carnivore diet we know about? All positive.
The downside of the thing that you're doing starts to catch up with you.
And what's that, Pamela? Tell us all about the downsides of doing the wrong thing in your diet for many years on end. Tell us all about what happens when you eat a diet that's entirely inappropriate for a human being for decades. Shall we wait for that? Self-awareness much? I don't know.
As in cocaine addiction, as in chemotherapy treatments.
Brain fog, repetition, inability to actually make a point and get on with it.
And those risks that you're taking...
Risks, you say, right. Well, there are no studies that inform on risk extant anywhere in the literature. Pam, you're done before you even open your mouth. Not one single study is extant on risk of any adverse health outcome as that relates to actually any aspect of human nutrition whatsoever, let alone the carnivore diet specifically. Okay, we're done. So no, you've just fallen on your face. Again, it seems that's happened more than once.
Eclipse the benefits that you're getting. So I'll give you an example.
Let's hear one.
In my own office.
Okay, in your office, yes?
Of things that we've seen. People say that they adopted a meat-based paleo diet.
Well, that's not carnivore, so fuck off.
And everything went great, and they lost a lot of weight until they ended up with kidney disease because the...
No. That's just an anecdote, Pamela. Got some evidence to say that kidney disease can be causally linked to any aspect of human diet whatsoever? Whatever your theology, it doesn't matter, because there are no studies that can inform on that still. So no, what's next?
The waste byproduct of all that protein metabolism has to be excreted by the kidneys.
And that's what they do. That's what they're designed to do, Pamela. Kidneys are quite adept at excreting things that they need to excrete from the blood. It's all part of the homeostatic mechanism.
Well, being a thinner person with lower cholesterol who's on the kidney transplant list is not actually an outcome that I think you're interested in.
It's also not one that you can pin on any aspect of the diet whatsoever, Pamela, still, because there is no evidence whatsoever that you can hang your hat on there. None. You've just given us a nice little anecdote and your ridiculous, pustulous, arrogant, ridiculous fucking opinion on.
So if you take a look at the long-term outcomes of...
Yes. And where would I find such information under control and observation? Tell me which research teams have done studies with people locked in metabolic wards so that they can control and observe these people appropriately for multiple decades, Pamela. Which ethics committee signed off on that? Seriously, love. Shut your fucking ignorant, arrogant fucking mouth, you fucking cunt. Are we clear? You are completely fucking out with any fucking engagement with objective reality whatsoever. This is beyond a joke. Not a single scrap of evidence being produced here for anything.
Of eating a meat-based diet, and they are not good. And I'll point to...
Nonsense. The reports that we get from people eating this way, millions of them, these days, Pamela, millions, are universally positive, except for the ones that never really were carnivores and did it wrong, eh, Pam? Like eating lots of organs or adding fruit in or honey or sugar or, all of these ridiculous things that were not part of our heritage. They're not things that we're evolved for.
To a couple of populations that will give you an example.
No, they won't, because populations, Pamela, have never been studied at all in a controlled and observed fashion whatsoever. And the cohort reports about these people fail utterly to control any covariates, collinearities, or confounders that make it absolutely clear to anyone who knows anything whatever about science that associations of any kind cannot inform on causality. Not one jot. We're done with that. Your own little mate Klaus dealt you that little one, remember, in the video I did a few minutes ago? And you giggled and obfuscated and pretended that he didn't give you that one. And you didn't answer it. I wonder why.
The Eskimos, which we call the Inuit now, they eat a meat-based diet.
Well, they used to. Not so much now.
They are the most osteoporotic people on the planet.
Now, because what's happened since then? They've been fed a bunch of sugar and things, haven't they? By Western society and etc. And told that they need to add a bunch of stuff to their diet that they really didn't need to add.
The Maasai eat a meat-based diet. Almost.
Well, what else do they eat as well, though, Pam? And is that a good thing?
Entirely meat.
And how do they live? What is their entire lifestyle? What is, are there degrees of freedom here? Are there confounds, covariates, and collinearities that render any look at these people, look at those people statement is anything more than a vacuous noise and a waste of our time. No? Okay. That's what I thought, flat earther.
The average age at death of a Maasai person, Maasai male, is 42 years old.
Yes, and is that impacted at all by mortality in infancy? Or any other of, thousands and thousands of different degrees of freedom? Yep, okay, well, we're done with that. So what?
And in fact, autopsies have shown that when these people die at the age of 42, they have the arteries of 95-year-old American men.
No, they don't. They still have the arteries of 40-something-year-old Maasai men, in fact. And there's nothing in there that can inform us as to the reasons for that.
So they are lean and they're hunters and they look great when they're 42 years old, eating all this meat. But if they lived long
And what else do they eat other than the meat? Again, still?
enough, they would have heart attacks, they would have cancer.
You don't know that, Pamela. Because actually, the atherosclerotic lesioning that they found in Maasai tend to invade that way, not that way. Okay? So you don't even know that clearly. It's ridiculous, absolute ridiculous theological claptrap from this absolute fucking charlatan, Pamela Popper. Stunning, the ignorance of this crone, isn't it? The arrogance of this crone, this ridiculous fuckpot. What's next?
They would have strokes, they would have diabetes, just like every other
You don't know that. That's a speculation, that's a guess. It's wrong.
population.
It's not scientific and it doesn't make your point. It's just yet more nutritional flat earthery. It's a misdirect. Okay, what's next?
World that eats this way. So my advice.
So two populations that have bloody hard lives based on where they live and how they live, one of which has been also more than the other even, affected badly by contact with Western society in recent times. That's your evidence? That's what you're going to support your claim that we shouldn't do carnivore with? I thought you were going to tell us all about the science, Pamela, which doesn't fucking exist still, by the way. The reason that Pamela hasn't bought any science is because it does not fucking exist to inform in this field. Still.
Advice to you is please don't fall into the trap of the latest.
Yes, Pamela, absolutely. Please, love, tell us all about how to be healthy long into your life and tell us all about that. How to look good and be healthy and, all of that. Do tell us. We're all ears.
And greatest diet that somebody is talking about on the internet. Please don't confuse stories with evidence. People.
What have you just given us, you stupid cunt? You absolutely ridiculous bitch. What have you just given us? A bunch of fucking stories about what's happening in your office, you say, and about two populations of people that you actually know nothing about. That's been the entire substance of your ridiculous fucking rant here. Wow.
People tell stories about, I adopted this diet and I'm eating organ meat all day long and I've lost weight.
You shouldn't eat organ meat all day long, or at all, in fact, pretty much.
That's a story. That's not science.
Neither is what you've just done here today, is it, you stupid, ridiculous theologian? You've provided no evidence of any kind. None. Not a scrap. Incredible. By which I mean completely lacking in any credibility, Pam, at all. The other thing that's lacking is any self-awareness whatsoever, clearly.
Check it out, because when you look at the science and you.
Yes, as I have done in great detail over many decades, and you clearly have not.
Evaluate the risks and the benefits, you will see that a plant.
There are no risks nor benefits established in science, Pam, as regards any aspect of health and human nutrition still.
Plant-based diet leads to better health in the long term.
It does not. That is false.
Nobody that comes to me is looking for 12 weeks of.
Nobody that's coming to you should be looking for anything at all by way of advice from you, Pamela. Again, with the self-awareness thing. Why would anyone sit in your office across the desk from you and take anything you have to say seriously before you even open your ignorant, arrogant fucking mouth? Why would they do that? Other than they are similarly lacking in, well, basic intelligence, Pam, to be honest. And they too are already a card-carrying member of the Nutritional Flat Earth Society of Vegans, perhaps. I hope you're enjoying, boys and girls, me getting back to my roots a bit. It seems to be the only way I can get views on my channel, by banging away at these absolutely ridiculous fucking cunts. Oh well, we all have our crosses to bear, I suppose. You're welcome.
Health. People are looking for long-term health.
Yes, and we have up to 67 years that we can look at. Yep.
And a plant-based diet is what takes you there?
No, it isn't. Still, it absolutely is not. That is a completely false statement. That is a lie. Absolute bald-faced lie.
These other fad diets that
we've been doing for 5 million fucking years, yes.
Carnivore, keto, paleo, they do not lead to long-term health.
Yes, they do still. False statement. The anecdotes do not back up your claim there. And there's no evidence to refute the claim of the anecdotes that it does lead to good health at large in most people who do it right. Like, don't eat organs and don't pour honey and sugar down their necks. Okay?
Short-term benefit, long-term, sometimes paying for it for the rest of your life. Don't fall into that.
Absolute fucking nonsense, absolute rubbish, nothing of any value scientifically or nothing of any authority there whatsoever. Just absolute fucking theological nonsense from start to finish. A disgraceful fucking video. Jesus. I'm going to stop putting you through it now, boys and girls. I really am. Join me next time when someone else will be wrong on the interwebs, because it doesn't look like stopping anytime soon, does it? No.